So, what do you even do when you're supposed to fight, but your conscience is screaming at you to stop?
Right? Arjuna's meltdown honestly makes so much sense. He's worried the whole family falls apart no matter what he chooses.
All right, Balur, hang on a second while we sort through today's sloka and get set up.
So, we've journeyed with Arjuna through his initial shock and profound compassion. He sees his teachers, his granduncles, his cousins, and his resolve to fight just crumbles.
Yeah, last time it felt so raw and emotional. He essentially said he couldn't do it, that he'd rather suffer himself than harm his family.
Exactly. But today, in verse 1.36, his argument evolves. He moves from pure emotion to a structured, ethical case against the war. He's going to explain why killing them, even though they are aggressors, would be a terrible sin.
Okay, so he's building a logical argument now. What will we be able to understand by the end of this?
By the end of our session, you'll be able to unpack Arjuna's deep fear of sin, or papa, and see it not just as a personal failing, but as an act that could unravel the entire social and spiritual fabric of his world.
Let's start with the verse itself. Arjuna says, "Only sin will befall us if we slay these warmongers." How could we find happiness by murdering our own relatives?
The word sin there, papa, it feels so loaded. Is he just talking about the karmic penalty for killing?
That's part of it, but it's so much bigger. For Arjuna, the sin isn't just the physical act, it's the entire cascade of consequences that follows. He's thinking about the long-term spiritual and social ruin.
Okay, so what does that mean practically?
Well, think of it like this. There were different kinds of guiding texts. There's Arthashastra, which is like political science or the rules of engagement. It might say, yes, you can kill an aggressor to defend justice. But Arjuna is appealing to a higher law.
And that is?
Dharmashastra, the texts of spiritual and moral duty. He believes these scriptures, which uphold principles like nonviolence or ahimsa, actually outweigh the political justification for war, especially when the aggressors are your own blood.
So he's saying there's a loophole, a moral clause, when it comes to family.
Precisely. He's arguing that the sin includes the violation of that sacred family bond, which he believes is the foundation of everything else.
Let's try to walk through his logic. Let's create the chain of events that Arjuna fears. So the first domino to fall is the act of war itself, killing his kinsmen.
Okay, step 1, fight and kill family.
Right. What's the immediate result of that? What gets destroyed when the elders and leaders of families are gone?
The families themselves, I guess. The structure. But he seems to be worried about something more abstract.
Yes, he's worried about the destruction of Kula Dharma, the age-old family traditions and duties that are passed down. These traditions are the glue that holds society together.
Ah, okay, so step 2, without the family leaders, Kula Dharma collapses. So what happens then?
When Dharma collapses, what rushes in to fill the void?
Adharma. Unrighteousness, chaos, people losing their moral compass because the traditions that guided them are gone.
Exactly right. And this leads to what he calls Varna Sankara, the unwanted mixing of social orders and the loss of ancestral rituals. Future generations are born into a world without a moral or spiritual anchor. That, for Arjuna, is the real sin. The victory isn't worth it if it creates a wasteland.
Wow, so it's not a selfish, I don't want bad karma fear. It's a, this will destroy our entire civilization fear.
Now you're at the heart of it. This brings us to a conflict of duties, something we've called Dharma Sankata before. On one hand, Arjuna has his Swadharma.
Swadharma, that's one's personal duty, right? His duty as a kshatriya, a warrior.
Correct. His duty is to fight for justice and protect the kingdom. But on the other hand, as we just discussed, he has his Kula Dharma, the duty to protect his family and its traditions.
And they are in direct opposition here. He can't do both. So why does he seem to be choosing Kula Dharma over his warrior duty?
Because in his mind, Kula Dharma is the foundation. What good is a kingdom if the families within it are broken and the culture is destroyed? He sees his Svadharma in this specific context as a perversion of duty, an act that upholds one principle by shattering a more fundamental one.
So he's basically saying, my job description as a warrior doesn't apply here because the collateral damage is too high. He's making a judgment call based on a wider ethical framework.
That is a perfect way to put it. He's not abandoning duty, he's trying to find the right duty in a situation where the rules seem to break down. He believes preserving the family lineage is the more righteous path, even if it means refusing to fight.
Huh. And of course, he's making this argument to Krishna, who is going to have a very different take on all this.
Yes, he is. But we're not there yet. For now, we have to sit with the power and sincerity of Arjuna's perspective.
Now, a common question here, a real challenge to Arjuna's thinking, is pretty straightforward. But these people on the other side are felons. They are aggressors who have unjustly taken a kingdom.
Right. The text says warmongers. Why does he suddenly have a problem with fighting them now? It's his job.
This is where his compassion, which we saw earlier, completely short-circuits the rulebook. He's so overwhelmed psychologically that the distinction between foe and family has blurred. He doesn't see aggressors, he sees Svajanaha, his own people.
So his emotional connection is overriding his intellectual understanding of justice.
It is, but he's framing it as a higher moral choice. He is arguing that the sin of killing family is so great that it contaminates the justice of the cause. He asks, how can we be happy? The implied answer is, we can't. A victory that leaves you emotionally and spiritually destroyed is not a victory at all.
I see. So it's not a misconception on his part. It's a deliberate reprioritization. He understands the rules of war, but he's choosing to place the sanctity of family above them.
That's the core of his argument. He's not being ignorant. He's making a profound moral stand based on what he values most.
Okay, let's bring this all together. What's the central pillar of Arjuna's argument in this verse?
That the sin of this war isn't just the killing. It's the chain reaction it starts, the destruction of family traditions, the rise of unrighteousness, and the spiritual ruin of future generations. The long-term cost is too high.
Excellent. And he justifies this by placing the duty to family, Kula Dharma, above his duty as a warrior, Swadharma, because he sees family as the bedrock of a moral society.
It's a powerful argument. It makes you think about modern situations.